This is Between Lovers, the Heart and Soul Chronicles. I'm T, your guide to a space for mythic truth, soul remembrance, and sacred restoration. Today's episode asks a question that lives in the intersection of history, psychology, and spirit. What if reparations were never truly about the past? What if they were about what's still happening now? About the nervous systems still under siege? About the minds still rewiring themselves to feel worthy? This is not a debate. This is not a demand. This is a remembrance. Sacred, spoken, and sovereign. Let this spoken word piece enter your body. Feel what it moves in you, because some debts can't be counted, only confronted. This is What If It Wasn't About the Past? An offering of truths for those still healing in plain sight. What if reparations were never about the past? What if they were about right now? About your nervous system, your mind, your bloodline? What if the real damage wasn't just slavery, but what came after it? What if reparations weren't calculated by labor hours, but by how long a people had been gaslit into believing they were never harmed? What if they studied the brain scans of black children taught to fear their fathers, mistrust their mothers, and question their own reflection? What if they ran the MRI on generations of nervous systems, taught to hustle for safety, to grind for peace, to smile while bleeding? What if they traced the cortisol level of boys who became men before they ever felt safe being boys? What if they measured the grief of girls who were never allowed to be soft, never permitted to break, never given the room to bloom without being plucked or packaged? What if they calculated the psychological cost of red lines, forced silence, and spiritual amnesia, the brain fog of being told you're free while still living in someone else's maze? What if reparations were owed not for what was stolen centuries ago, but for what's still being stolen, right now, from minds, from dreams, from the body's ability to relax and feel joy without suspicion? What if the repayment wasn't cash alone, but restoration, therapy without cost, healing without shame, land returned, names restored, truth taught in schools, in streets, and in stories? What if the damage wasn't theoretical? What if it was in the data, but the systems refused to measure it because to measure it would mean admitting that this country is still bleeding through the very hands it applauds? What if they paid you not for your past, but for your reprogramming you've had to do just to remember that you are worthy of love? What if reparations weren't a check, but a clearing, a dismantling, a returning, a releasing of the spell that made you think you had to earn your humanity? What if the truth is you don't need a receipt for pain to be compensated? What if your breath was the proof? What if your healing was the invoice? And your joy, your unapologetic, holy black joy, was the payment returned to your bloodline with interest? Take a breath. You don't have to explain your pain to make it real. You don't have to debate your worth to be worthy. You are not a theory, you are evidence. And your healing is not an accident, it's a revolution. So here's your reflection. What parts of your story have been treated like footnotes? What healing have you done with no apology and no reparations? What would true restoration feel like in your body, not just your bank account? How are you reclaiming joy as your inheritance? If this episode stirred something in you, don't rush past it. Sit with it. Reclaim it. Visit betweenlovers.com. Explore the Discovery book series. You can find it on Amazon and TikTok Shop. Join the e-school and the sacred circles for real conversations, not performance. Follow along at Between Lovers on TikTok and Instagram. This is Between Lovers. I am T. I don't just tell stories. I break spells. Walk gently, walk boldly, walk soulfully. And if you're called, walk free.